Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. English News Edition. Here are the headlines. Djiboutians follow live on African Nations Cup final. Two British petroleum seized by Iran, one of them releases. Hello and welcome again. Following the graduation ceremony, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training offered the graduates a stay at Sunny Hill Center and an entertaining and informative program both concocted by a committee. On the first day, all winners were able to enjoy the services and activities offered by the Sunny Hill Center, swimming pool, volleyball and football. The next day, escorted by the National Gendarmerie and ambulance from Smir provided by the Prefect and Deputy Omar, who moreover wanted to take part in this excursion. The best winners of the 2019 promotion either visited the set of Lac Assal and then had lunch on the beach of Gubeit, where a presentation of dub trophies was held at the CHS football tournament. Through this action, Manfop aims on the one hand to encourage emulation among all students, but also to give value to the emblematic diploma that is the baccalaureate. The beneficiaries were able to appreciate the richness of the program and welcome this action initiated last year. The Teacher Training Center for Basic Education hosted the defense of the professional dissertation by the trainee teacher first from the first promotion of the unique framework. The objective of the defense is to evaluate the thematic action research written in the form of a thesis by each trainee professor. This defense is part of the trainee's evaluation as part of his tenure examination. Some 300 trainee teachers will spend 2 days in front of a jury composed of a CFEEF trainer and pedagogical advisor. At the end of this defense, the trainee teacher will also be evaluated in their classroom practice from the beginning of the next school year. Indeed, the tenure of teachers is the single framework is carried out in a joint assessment carried out jointly by the CFEEF and the General Inspectorate. As a reminder, the single framework is a strong point in the educational policy of the presidential roadmap. However, the objective of the single framework is to enhance the status of the teacher. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, is very keen to ensure the success of this evaluation and implementation of the mechanism for integrating all teachers into the studies of the single body. The 32nd edition of the African Cup of Nations, which was held in Egypt from 21st June to 19 July 2019, ended last night with a very fine final between the continent's two major teams, the Teranga Lions of Senegal and the Phoenix of Algeria. As every evening since the beginning of the CAN, many young people flocked to the CDCs to follow together in a good atmosphere this unprecedented final, and to make this meeting as enjoyable as possible for football lovers. To the State Secretary for Youth in Sport set up new screen sites such as the Saline Theatre in front of Goulet Stadium, where most of the Senegalese community residing in Djibouti followed the match. The president of the Senegalese Association, Mr. Ibrahim Aki, did not fail to congratulate and thank the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Mr. Hassan Mohamed Kamil, for this initiative. As for this grand final, despite a possession of the ball and a clear domination of the match by Senegal, the Phoenix striker Baghdad Bouneja, who scored the only goal in the second minute, awarded the cup to Algeria Jamal Belmadi. The Al-Sadd striker took advantage of a ball recovered from the other side to play Kouyaté, then sent a shot blocked by Sané, who completely misled Gomes. It will be the only shot on target of the match of the Algerians, but it offered the 2019 CAN. As part of the preparation for hosting Djibouti pilgrims participating in this year's 2019 pilgrimage, the Djibouti Pilgrimage Affairs Office members held a meeting in Mecca. Attended the meeting the members of the various committees in charge as well as the Council of Djibouti in the city of Jeddah, Mr. Ali Mi'ad. During the meeting that took place before the arrival of Djibouti pilgrims in the Holy Land, Participants discussed the ongoing preparation to create an appropriate climate for pilgrims, but also to measure taken to enable them to fulfill their religious duty under the best conditions. It should be noted that the Ministry of Islamic Affairs Culture has proceeded as usual with a number of committees such as the High Committee, the Services Committee, the Health Committee and the Information and Relations Committee in order to provide quality services to Djibouti pilgrims. It should also be noted that pilgrimage is the fifth pillar of Islam and the Muslim must perform it once in his life. Ahmed Absi Warsama in Ali Sabih city visited remote areas of the Ali Sabih region. The objective of the visitor in white coats was to provide care to the inhabitants of the remote healthcare village. This trip took place as part of the monthly consultation activities set up by the Minister of Health. The mobile caravan included a doctor, nurses and midwives from many families made up of children and adults enjoyed free care throughout the day. In addition to the free supply of medicine, hundreds of the resident consultants received insecticide-treated mosquito nets for effective malaria control. This action aimed to bring together the health care services of fixing health sculptures and population in remote areas of the country. Also, as part of the fight against smuggling and illegal projects, after a very extensive control operation carried out in the Dikil region by Riyadh Army and Channel Regiment of Dikil, including the sector of Sankal, 25 km from Dikil. It is in the night of July 16, 2019 that elements of Sankal's army under the command of Colonel the Riyadh of Dikil, Mr. Idris Omar Alayi, and the heads of the Dikil Customs Brigade of Mr. Musa Omar Musa. The latter intercepted 6 boxes of Benson brand cigarettes from the Ethiopian through the town of Sankal carried by male riders, recalling that these operations were carried out under the authority of the head of Dikil Customs Brigade, Mr. Musa Omar Musa, in collaboration with the Colonel of the Riyadh Army of Dikil. The Director General of Customs and Indirected Duties, Mr. Guled Ahmed, congratulated all the elements of Customs and military of Dikil for their collaboration in the success of this operation to fight against smuggling, in particular the head of the Armed Corps Riyadh of Dikil. The SEGS of Tajura, in collaboration with the Kalaf Young Sport Association, organized the summer tournament in the locality of Kalaf. This in the presence of Deputy Director Mr. Muhammad Ali Ibrahim, the President of the Association Mr. Akadar Abdo Muhammad, the village chief and the population. The tournament was attended by 7 localities on the outskirts of the Kalaf village, namely Sagalu, Dulul, Kalaf, Ardo, Ewali, Ashugbu and Dafo. The 2 finalists being Ardo and Dago. The Ardo team won 4-2. The second edition of the Kalaf Summer Tournament is part of the effort to promote sport in rural areas. With this in mind, Tajura's Subdi Director began the tour in the sub-regions to animate rural youths in order to occupy them with sports. Here is a greenhouse with pipes and buckets of water, an unusual material in an arid environment. Then put sand to grow vegetable in small pots. Plants placed in pipes benefit from water and nutrients throughout the day thanks to an irrigation pump through a system called NFT, a system from recycling water with mineral water. After a few months later, here is some salad. This technique is called hydroponics, grown without agricultural aid, replaced by different supports. Clay balls with these substrate are found in confined environment, in other words, an urban agriculture that is above ground. Horizontal agriculture, a revolutionary and more sustainable method because it reduces water requirement by up to 70% and also saves a lot of space and soil. This innovation in agriculture with the motto of sustainability is increasingly turning heads with its environmentally friendly methods and making it possible to practice agriculture in difficult environments. presenting hydroponics as agriculture as the grail of the future agronomy in Djibouti was an initiative of the Ministry of Agriculture of Young Djiboutian from the 5 region. This training, which lasted for a year, its objective was to make people understanding and master all the working and above all store all this knowledge, whether to set up a small vegetable garden near their home or to launch into the creation of a hydroponic farm. Hydroponics is soil-less method of growing plants in water by injecting mineral nutrient is having some success with a system called NFT, which is a water recycling system. This form of agriculture has these advantages and they are undeniable. Hydroponics saves space and energy but also water. We regret to inform you of the death this morning in Djibouti of the late Ali Abdullah Hassan after a long illness. The late Ali Abdullah Hassan was a personality well known in the Djiboutian community for his kindness and uprightness. After his secondary studies in Djibouti and higher studies in Germany, he was hired at the port of Djibouti in the mid-1980s, where he spent his entire career in the workshop and then in the port's technical department until today. The deceased was also very well known in the sports world. He had won several national petanque championship and an ace of petanque who had represented his country in the regional and international championship, where he had won many trophies. Born in 1961, the late Ali Abdullah leaves behind a large family including a widow, 4 children and a small child. On learning of the death of the late Ali Abdullah Hassan, the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Mr. Hamidou Aramis, the Ambassador of Djibouti to Germany, Mr. Adam Mohamed Deleta and Mr. Baragoita Said conveyed their deepest sympathy to the family of the late Ali Abdullah Hassan. All pray to the good Lord to welcome him to his eternal friend paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Moving on the international news, 2 British tankers were seized by Iran on Friday, but one of them was released late in the evening according to its owner. Norfolk Shipping explained in a statement that communication have been restored with the ship. The captain confirmed that the armed guards had left him and that the ship was free to continue on its way. All crew members are safe and sound. The event took place in the Strait of Hormuz, where tension with the Western powers have crystallized for nearly 2 months. London has said it was extremely concerned by these acts, which were considered unacceptable. In Gibraltar, the courts have extended by 1 month the detention of the Iranian tanker Grace, one suspected of delivering fuel to the Syrian regime in violation of international sanctions. And that's all for this edition. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful night.